last couple of videos we've done, you just look like you're about to just fall asleep any second.
I would have fallen asleep in the theater if it wasn't for those uncomfortable ass chairs.
Yeah.
Those were the worst chairs I have ever sat in at the movie theaters in my life. Oh my god. And I've been to that AMC before. They have never been that bad.
Really? They always seem the same to me at that theater.
They must have had a replacement
Anyway.
in the last few years.
So, hi, we're here to talk about Firestarter, the somehow direct-to-TV Stephen King movie that got a theatrical release somehow.
And that was in the biggest screen on that subject.
Yeah, like
that was insane.
I don't know why. Men would have made more sense to put in that theater.
Oh my god, yeah.
Or whatever the other one came out this week. But
at least Men has hype. I didn't know anybody was hyped for this.
I guess so. I don't know. Somebody had a lot of false confidence in this fucking movie. It was boring as shit.
There were a few
so bad they're funny
bits
moments
of unintentional hilarity that were genius.
Yeah.
But you have to go through a whole lot of nothing to get to those maybe 2 minutes of the entire film.
Give or take. And I'm actually very curious what your history with this particular book is, because before you get into that, I have to tell, because this is one of those cases I put on the Facebook group, it's like, hey, is anyone free to watch Firestarters? And just crickets, which isn't surprising. I more or less expected that. And then when Sarah said, fuck no, that's when I texted you, was like, hey, would you be willing to watch a really bad movie? And I was like, which one? Firestarter. Not even a minute later, you go, oh, I hate Firestarter. I'm down. And I was like, all right.
So, Stephen King was really big in my house growing up. My grandma and my mom, their bookshelf was just nothing but Stephen King. And I wasn't allowed to read a single one because they were too scary.
Ooh.
So, eighth grade? Yeah, 8th grade, graduating 8th grade, going into high school. They got some new copies of some books. Now you're old enough to read them, because the private school I went to, we were reading, The Great Gatsby, Huck Finn in 7th, 8th grade.
Okay.
It's all the stuff you started reading in high school.
Yeah.
So when I went to high school, I'm I already read this shit. But I was finally adult-ish enough to read Stephen King, and we got
what are you doing? Sorry, go ahead.
Christine, The Shining, and Cujo.
Okay.
Which I had seen the film for Christine.
Mm-hmm.
And I had seen the film for The Shining. That was one of the... I wasn't allowed to read the book, but I was allowed to watch the movie when I was 10.
Okay.
Which makes no sense to me.
Sure.
In retrospect, but I was. Same time I saw The Exorcist and the Alien for the first time.
Of course, as you do.
And there was a film version of Firestarter, which I had not seen at that point.
Okay.
But I read The Shining, because that's one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah.
And I read the book, I'm like, wow, this is really bad.
Shining book.
Sucks ass.
Yeah.
Then I read Christine, I'm like, okay, it's better than The Shining. And then I read Firestarter, I'm like, this is the worst fucking book I ever read up until that point.
Damn.
And then I saw the old movie with Drew Barrymore, I'm like, this is basically almost verbatim the book, and it's somehow worse.
Damn.
And this film actually changes quite a bit.
Does it really?
Oh, yes.
What's different?
The whole Rainbow character.
Oh, yeah?
First of all, in the Drew Barrymore film, it was a white guy.
Okay.
So they got an actual native, indigenous, what's the proper terminology these days?
Indigenous people, I think I want to say.
They have a indigenous person play him, so that's good. In the book, he is a pure fucking psychopath. Anton Chigurh would be like, dude, chill. And then when they tell him he has to hunt down this girl, and then he's like, I've never killed a child before. What fun. It's like, dude, what fucking sport is there in killing a child? I guess it's a child with fucking superpowers.
I guess.
But whatever. And that's another thing. I had not read Carrie at that point, but I knew about Carrie.
Okay.
And Firestarter, I looked it up before we saw this. came out in 1980 originally.
Okay.
So this is after Carrie, after The Shining, but still before Stephen King was like a superstar novelist in the mid-80s.
Okay.
I'm like, wow, dude, you're starting off and you're already writing the same fucking plot 3 times in a row.
Yeah. Stephen King. Like, legendary writer, not known for his consistency. At least
or his subtlety, and boy, did this film keep that intact.
Yeah,
oh,
like,
jeez.
I was like, because we were both kind of like, ooh, we saw it was like orchestrated by John Carpenter.
Oh yeah, that was hyped.
And then we got the actual soundtrack, and it's like the most generic 80s, like, beat, just...
Actually,
you disagree?
I think the soundtrack was the highlight.
Okay.
Like at the end, you got John Carpenter's like little Western guitar.
Sure, I guess if it was in a better movie, I'd have been more committed to it. But it's like,
and that main theme was totally not Tubular Bells, not the Exorcist theme.
Yeah, but oh my god.
Oh, and then right after John Carpenter, we were like, ooh, executive producer Akiva Goldsman, and we're like, oh, fucking A. God damn, that explains so much.
And the rest of the movie, just a 1.5, like, it's only an hour and a half. It feels like it goes on forever. Just fucking slog of a film.
And like Morbius, which also felt long.
Honestly, like,
it just moved so fast, the plot.
I was gonna say, like, same as you love Morbius, but at least it moved at a steady clip. As boring as it was. Like, this one, there are just scenes where everyone's just taking their sweet-ass time doing the most mundane shit. Even when it's supposed to be exciting climactic, they're still just casually walking down a hallway most of the time.
And the other thing I remember about the book is it starts in media res. They've already been on the run for like a couple months at that point. I think this entire film takes place like in, what, a week?
Give or take. It feels like a week.
But, and
not even a week, like maybe like 3 days.
The mom was alive in flashbacks.
Okay. So this is
her being alive, that was a change, and like her whole death. They gave her so much to do, and she dies anyway.
Yeah, I was kind of leaning over you because I've never read a Stephen King book ever. I've seen a lot of Stephen King movies. I've never read a single one of his books.
And that's the thing. He's good with ideas.
Yeah, like they're not bad ideas.
And then you read the book. It's like, oh, there's this haunted hotel.
Wednesday.
And you see the movie, and you're like, whoa, like, wow, what really happened? Does the book have the answer? The book has the answer, and you do not want to hear the answer.
Which is why it's like most directors who actually look at his stuff like, what can we cut out of this that we don't need?
And then you watch Cujo, and you're like, oh wow, like it's just a rabid dog. And then you read the book, it's psych, it's a fucking demon.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, it's like, come on, bro.
Like when the beginning opens up with fucking Red from that '70s show going, have you ever experienced a psychic event? And it was like, there's a Stephen King.
Yeah.
Like,
again, 1980. Carrie came out in like 76 or something, and then Shining was like 78 or 79. So he was just in the start of his career. He's already just, hey, psychic kids. Nobody's ever done that. Stephen King, you've done that. Shh. And then he just takes another shot and stops.
We're doing it again.
That's probably in poor taste. He's been sober for a long time.
Yeah, but this is a case where I don't know how this got a theatrical release. It feels like it was made for TV.
It feels
the
like
budget feels like so fucking low.
It feels like one of those really shitty Netflix films.
Like low budget. Like This Is How It Ends.
Oh god, it looked so cheap.
Yeah, right.
It was so cheap.
Like, do you remember that one with fucking Forrest Whitaker? Come here, buddy. I think it's called No, This Is How It Ends.
No.
Also terrible, incredibly slow slog movie that ends up going nowhere. And ends on a complete anticlimax of just like, well...
That was the other huge change was the ending.
Oh, yeah?
So, spoilers.
Yeah, if you're really going to watch this movie. Yep.
So, in the film, Rainbird's like, oh, well, now she's alone. Well, first he's like, I atoned for my sins, fucking kill me. And she starts to kill him, and then she stops. And then he just comes up, it's like, I guess we're alone together.
So I guess we're just gonna...
And they just walk off into the fucking sunset.
And that's the end of the movie.
The midnight or whatever.
How's the book end?
Oh boy, how does it end? So the book, she like fucking tortures Rainbird before she kills him. And he's like, oh yes, this is what I wanted to do to you, do it to me. Yeah, it's very fucking weird.
That's, okay.
Again, Stephen King is not known for subtlety. He has lots of stock characters, so like the stock psychopath. That's who he is. He exists just to be evil.
Just like the bully character.
And then they burn it down. And then she goes to the fucking Rolling Stone.
Wait, what?
And she has an expose in the Rolling Stone that gets it shut down.
I'm sorry, fucking what?
Yes.
I honestly kind of would have preferred that ending.
Not the Washington Post, not the New York Times, the fucking Rolling Stone. Granted, I guess this was a post-Watergate Rolling Stone. It had some political cred to it. The fucking Rolling Stone.
Honestly, I would have preferred that ending just for the hard left turn.
Yeah.
It was much better than John Carpenter music, synth music, just a girl slowly walking down a hallway and occasionally somebody lights on fire. Which is honestly was the most entertaining part of the movie, but God, it was not worth the hour and a half it took to get there.
No, God.
Honestly, the only time it ever woke me up or when anything happened is when she just spontaneously bursts into flame. And I was kind of I was hopeful at the beginning because ooh, this might actually be kind of fun. Because it opens with I almost called him James Franco, Zac Efron, with the baby in the crib, and the baby starts developing her little psychokinetic powers, whatever. And starts getting on flames, and he's holding the baby, and the baby just lights on fire. And fucking Jack in The Incredibles.
That's when the cat gets lit on fire.
And the cat lights on fire, which sounds horrible, but the way it's shot
and they have,
so cheap.
This generic sound effects. And then it's you have to put the cat out of its misery, and then it's this this carcass, and you just hear this. So that
was legitimately really funny because it sounds horrible when you describe it. When you see it in action, it's so poorly made and so poorly shot. It's more they have stock footage of a cat and then they just kind of add a flame transition into it.
Oh, when she sets the captain her down fire, that's straight up that's an Adobe After Effects. I was doing that shit in high school.
Yep, it's just it looks so cheap, and then they just cut to this half charred cat, and Zac Efron's
it's still making sounds.
It's still and then eventually you had to put out its misery. Alright, so we're just gonna burn it alive. Clearly the correct choice.
You just got the
it's all off screen.
It just keeps going. And then when Irv gets drunk, that's another big change. Irv survives. One of the few black Stephen King characters to live to the end.
Right.
Wait, does he die at the very end?
No, he's kind of just shot in the leg. So.
I'm trying to remember the
book.
She helps him break it, or he helps her break it in.
Oh, okay.
And then they kind of rendezvous outside, and that's how...
See, I was kind of with Irv.
I guess he has an in with the Rolling Stone.
I guess so.
And then when Irv is drunk and he's tries to find him, he just
oh yeah, that was it. Parker, you and I were laughing our ass off. Because a 70-something-year-old man trying to throw a punch at Zac Efron, who, despite his age, is still fucking ripped.
Irv was cool.
I liked Irv. Cool. He was the only part of the movie I actually did like.
Stephen King usually writes the folky wise old man.
Yeah.
That cliche that he does, he's got that one pretty much on lock.
Yeah. So
every time it shows up, you're yeah.
And they got a reliable actor to play him, so I was down for him. I liked him. I just in case you kind of knew that's something bad's gonna happen to poor Irv.
Yeah, he's a black guy in a Stephen King story.
Yeah. Well, in the book, doesn't the guy in The Shining actually make it?
Yes.
In the book, not the movie.
Yes. He is horribly injured, but he does make it, and they go to Danny's graduation. It's so fucking stupid.
I believe that. Although Dr. Sleep was good.
I still have not watched it.
I think it's
just out of...
spite.
Yeah.
Basically. Fair. I actually like Dr. Sleep.
And, I know that was a relatively recent-ish book that he wrote.
Yeah.
Not that I've been keeping up with Stephen King hardcore. I know he still has his hardcore fans, and all power to you. I heard the Stand series is great.
I've heard...
The Dark Tower.
Yeah, I was going to say, The Dark Tower always gets
I read the first book, and I'm yeah, I think I'll read another one. I haven't. Not out of, any apathy or...
Just one of those turns into, I'll get to it, and then you never
exactly.
do. Yeah,
exactly. What was the other part where we all just burst out laughing near the end?
I'm trying to remember, so much movies already just slipping from my memory. Because I'm trying to think, so... Ray Bird comes in and just murders. But I kept chuckling whenever they said the name Ray Bird out loud in a way it's supposed to be like a serious context.
Well, I mean, the character is supposed to be indigenous.
I get that, but it sounded like the name of a rejected X-Men.
Yeah, I don't remember if that whole talk about her being a superhero was in the book, but I feel like that's something they had, like, we need the trailer shots. That and the, liar, liar, pants on fire.
Oh, God, that was stupid.
Because, like, what the fuck was up with that scene?
Like, that whole sequence, was the part where we had the dead on arrival guard that's walking back to his car and is talking to his wife on the phone where he's like, I know, honey, you almost done the first trimester. I'm sure it'll be easy sailing from here.
I wonder what's going to happen to you. And then she's like, I didn't want to break my promise. And then she goes to her dad. It's like, but I said I wouldn't break my promise. Bitch, you already did.
And I'm like, and then she just goes, kill them all. Fuck them up.
That is part of the book.
I believe
he
that.
He doesn't have to, like, if I remember this correctly, he doesn't have to. No, don't fact check me on this. You don't care either.
Yeah.
I don't think that he has to push or
whatever the hell he does.
Influence in her. Basically, it's Jedi mind trick. I think he's like, you need to do this, and she's like, yeah, okay. Because in the book, she's also kind of a weird little psychopath, and they tried to make it sympathetic.
Yeah, they were really trying here. I mean, what she really needed was a Rolling Stones interview. I think that really would have brought her character arc home.
She should have been on the Rolling Stone with the Rolling Stones.
Like, I think that's what this movie really needs, just a montage of this publicity stunts.
It just ends.
Yeah, and it just ends.
It just stops.
And there's even parts like where they brought in Red from that '70s. I forget the actor's name, but we all know who it is. Who, God bless him, is the only one like seems to be trying for the brief screen time he has in the entire movie.
He's the doctor, right?
The doctor, and for some reason he takes like sugar packets and starts like pouring little piles like in his room. Never explained why. Never comes back.
Stephen King always has this stuff where it's like, oh well, somebody has to be doing something, and it's something I can write in detail. Because when Jack goes to interview for the hotel. This very minor, like, 2-minute top scene in The Shining, right? In the book, he spends an entire page detailing a cup on his desk filled with pens.
This is like when Moby Dick goes an entire chapter about the color white.
You see, but there's a reason for that.
Yeah, sure.
Man, so Stephen King famously hates most of film adaptations of his work.
Yeah, because they actually have to make him something good.
Yeah, because Stephen King he'll have this idea and he'll do the single most unsubtle, on the nose thing with it.
Yep.
And then you get people like, you know what, we can do without explaining that it's aliens or whatever, and then we can just have the powers. But the car is possessed by this. It's like, or maybe it's just an evil car. Calm down, Stevie.
I always think of that
the
sequence in BoJack Horseman where Diane has to go talk to the director and simplify his bullshit to make the story make sense.
Yeah.
It's like, so is he a ghost or is he not a ghost? Exactly. How about he's just a ghost?
Yeah, basically. But this is like the most... I'm trying to think of another Stephen King film that changes so much that is just so in your face with everything. Maybe Dreamcatcher?
I have not seen Dreamcatcher, so
I
can't
have not
speak to it.
read it, so I guess I can't speak for that. But that's the kind of bad Stephen King film I wanted. The one where you're just like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, I think I do. Is that the one where like the teenager turns into like a werewolf randomly in a car?
No, it's aliens.
But not.
But they come out of your ass.
Oh, that one! Okay,
It's face huggers.
The shit weasels.
Yes,
the
they
shit
shoot
weasels.
out of your ass.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Okay, like that. You're just like, this isn't good. It's not a good idea, but you're going for it. So respects to you.
I forget
having the scene where you shoot out an alien and kill it inside the toilet with the toilet.
Well,
like, all right.
Commit to the bit, I guess.
Yeah, but this was
just a slog.
Yeah,
and so boring.
It's just so boring.
Just it's again so many sequences where it's just them just slowly talking, and they'll have long shots of them slowly turning their head.
Okay, this really pissed me off. There was this one scene where Cap's talking to the doctor, and it's shot reverse shot. And let me just get in the way. She's right here, and there's nothing over here. And I'm like, and they go back to the doctor, and he's pretty much center frame. It's like, why aren't you?
No, they're doing the doctor too. The difference is there was more going on behind him, so you didn't notice.
Maybe that's it, because it was just a blank wall.
Yeah, because for her it was just literally just a black wall, and you couldn't really see it.
And
but
you're like, why? Just scoot over. Just scoot over 6 inches to your right, please.
Fuck. It's so stupid. And like I said, the only bits in this part, like the only part that really even like engages you remotely is like the last sequence. That's because she's just lighting bitches on fire left and right. But even then, there was just, again, just her walking down this hallway, and she's still walking down a hallway. She's intently looking at the camera goes black. Oh, I remember what made us laugh now. Was right after Zac Efron gets lit on fire, and it just cuts to the guy watching the security camera.
He's just like, oh shit! That was it.
That was it. That's where he burst out laughing. Because of this entire time, anything that goes wrong, worst camera guy ever.
It's this it's supposed to be the super serious, tense moment.
Yeah.
And then just imagine coming to Friday. Damn! Yeah. That's exactly what it was like.
Pretty much. And nothing ever happens to this guy. And he doesn't come back into play in the plot in any way.
He survived.
He survived.
He's a black guy who survived in the Stephen King story.
For as far as this story
goes.
goes,
I'm not fucking touching this, man.
Like, he probably just locked the door and stayed inside. Just like, nope.
Yeah, that's what you should have done.
We're good. He called the Rolling Stones. Said, you gotta get on this shit.
I like how it evolved from the Rolling Stone to the Rolling Stones.
Alright, sorry.
Like they're gonna go on tour with the Rolling Stones.
Fuck
like,
yeah.
The fucking DSI did this. Anyway, here's Wild Horses.
It's a new song called Firestarter. That's how they tied the name back into the movie.
Ooh. You know, she should have gone on a tour with Foreigner. You know why?
Why?
You know why. Because she's a jukebox hero.
Oh. Boo. I will
Set up hot-blooded, switch, classic misdirect.
But yeah, this movie sucks.
Yeah, it's
like it's not even enough to be mad about. It's just like I just feel like I'd
rather
an hour
go see
and a half.
Morbius again.
I don't know, man.
I really would. I'm not saying Morbius is a masterpiece, but
I know it's more like just
both
both are
better
just.
than this.
As someone who actually did see Morbius twice, I can see.
You know what? You know what? Why they put it in all these big screens and put this hype for it? It's because it happened. There we go.
That makes sense.
The first It film, I think it's amazing.
I really like the first one.
I really like the first one. What other films came out? I can't remember my list. I think I sent you a list, but that was in my top 10 for that year.
Yeah, that
was really good. It was
second one not so much, but the first one was good.
No, it was not.
But the first one was good.
This really bugs me though in It. And what year was it? 1987, 89,
something like that.
No kid was going to the arcade to play fucking Street Fighter 1. What this happened was they were writing what they remembered when they were growing up. It's like, yeah, remember we played Street Fighter? And somebody looked up, it's like, wait, that was Street Fighter 2. And they're like, they're gonna fucking get it, don't worry. But I got it.
Maybe it's a cheap ass old town. Maybe they just couldn't afford Street Fighter 2 at the time.
Why not Final Fight? Final Fight's around the same time. This is one of the best arcade games ever made alongside Street Fighter 2.
This is me. That's going to be a you thing for this one. I was not big on the arcade scene back in the day.
Alright.
Most because I didn't even have an arcade near me. Which is a shame because I always watched like 90s cartoons and I always felt like the epitome of like children gathering. It was like, ooh, that's really cool. But alas, it was not to be.
Yeah. So.
But yeah.
It's just bad.
It's bad. It's really bad. And honestly, it's like, I'm kind of disappointed. I'm more angry about it because I feel like I haven't gotten that many movies I watched this year so far that I just vehemently hated. And the reason it disappoints me is because I know it's coming. And I just kind of want to get it over with.
This is the worst version of Firestarter.
Is it really? How many versions are there?
I think there was a TV show on Sci-Fi, which...
Boy, if you have trouble searching this out.
Enough said. Then there was the Drew Barrymore film, and then the book, and yeah, this is just
bad. I almost kind of feel bad for Zac Efron, in a weird way. Like, I don't hate him. I think he's a good actor when he wants to be.
You know what his psychic power should have been?
What?
Was to turn 17 again.
That was a good spot to end it.
All right. See y'all.
Bye.